Matt, what is the SEC going to be looking at here?
So in situations like this, they're generally looking for suspicious trading, out-of-the-money options. It's going to take a couple days for these trades to settle. So there's a lot of time for them to see sort of aberrational, what's going on here type of trading.
How does something like this actually happen? I mean, a lot of thought has to go into a fake website. It looked like a real article, except for Dick Costolo's name was spelled wrong.
Right. Part of the reason I think it sort of took off is that a lot of these financial, press will put out a headline, and then a lot of these high-frequency traders will trade on that, and then it becomes sort of this self-fulfilling prophecy. So from the SEC standpoint, they're not in the business of figuring out what's true and what isn't. They're in the business of policing something that's a false statement. So this is something that's been going on. I mean, we saw this a couple weeks ago with Avon, that's just been going on in general.
And what do these incidences wind up telling us about an SEC enforcement? I mean, are they like asleep on the job, and that's why we're seeing Avon and Twitter reactions like this, or is there something else going on?
I think with Avon, it was especially kind of tricky for them because it was an actual SEC regulatory filing. But for them, they're pretty good. They have a whole specialized unit in figuring out what's going on in these types of cases. I think probably the bigger problem for them is that these individuals or whoever's behind this is probably not based in the U.S., so they'll have to, like for instance, Avon was a Bulgarian trader, so they're going to have to try to extradite people and work with that country's regulators. So, and with Avon, they were pretty quick. It was only, the Hoaxes on like May 14th, and like 3 weeks later, they had an asset freeze, so I would expect that they'll probably be aggressive in this case as well.
What does it mean that we've seen more of these kind of hoaxes?
I think these are instances where they happen pretty regularly, but they're just not as well-known names. Like,
okay.
So you have these pump and dump type of scenarios, but they're usually on a much smaller scale. They don't sort of pick up speed in the same manner. I mean, Twitter, Avon, like these are sort of, brand names.